Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm Reactor, and this is Quinn, and today's article comes from NBCnews.com. It says, "Don't vote for our homophobic and racist dad. Missouri candidate's kids tell voters. I can't imagine him being in any level of government," said the daughter of Steve West, a Republican vying for a Missouri House seat.
Sounds like she didn't get the car she wanted.
Yeah, right? Who knows? We'll find out. Hopefully. Sorta, from this article, but maybe not. While most political candidates can count on an unwavering support of their family members, two of the three children of Missouri Republican Steve West have a message for voters in the state's 15th House District. Don't vote for our dad. I can't imagine him being in any level of government, said Steve West's daughter Emily told the Kansas City Star. He's made multiple comments that are racist and homophobic, and how he doesn't like the Jews.
Those are strong words for your own dad.
Yeah. Steve West's son, Andy, contacted the paper on Tuesday with a similar message about his fanatic father. He must be stopped, Andy West said. His ideology is pure hatred. Wow. In a 30-minute phone conversation with NBC News on Wednesday evening, Steve West rebutted the claims made by his children. "I'm not anti-Semitic," he said. "I have no racism at all, and I'm not homophobic."
Right there, he's lying.
Is he?
I mean,
Why
why
would he have to be lying?
Can a person have no racism at all? Absolutely none. Okay, maybe a few people in history, like
No.
like maybe Martin Luther King Jr.
I feel like,
or Gandhi, or some other huge.
I feel like I'm not racist, but I get what you're saying, because racism is completely. It's a natural instinct. You can't,
like, subconsciously.
You have to be aware of it.
On a subconscious level, you know.
You have to be, but if you're aware of it, it's easy to ignore it. You know.
This sounds like a person whose children are possibly against him because they didn't get something they wanted. That's what I feel from it.
It kind of sounds like
they're mad at their,
because you have to consider the reasons why someone would say that about their father. Maybe it's true, but even if it's true, why would his children be publicly outspoken about it? I would never, if like someone I knew was racist, or like a family member was racist, I would never go public and be like, he's racist and hates Jews, and I would not want. Well, I mean, maybe they're trying to save the world because this guy's the next Hitler.
Perhaps.
Yeah. West blamed his fraught relationship with his children on his ex-wife, who he said poisoned them during an extremely toxic divorce. Oh. So that could be it.
Sounds legit.
Like the mom convinced the children that he's racist. That actually happens a lot.
I didn't even think of that, but it sounds...
When parents divorce, it becomes a battle over the love of the children, and a lot of the time, one parent will demonize the other.
It's true.
It's totally normal. It's actually normal behavior. All right, it's not good behavior, but it's normal.
Common, yeah.
Despite his assertions that he's not a bigot, however, West has not been shy about voicing his extreme views. After West's landslide victory in August's GOP primary, the Star compiled a long list of offensive comments he made on his radio show, YouTube channel, and website. Okay, so maybe he has said some stuff.
He has. I know that this guy has said a few things.
Regarding the LGBTQ community, West has said homosexuality and pedophilia are absolutely linked. He called women's athletics a haven and breeding ground for lesbianism.
What I got from what this guy has said in the past is it's a person who doesn't get out of the house much. They don't really have a strong foundation of like what's going on in society today, especially in like your more heavily populated urban landscape. Very out of touch with reality, and probably needs a friend from this decade that actually, talks to other people outside of a house.
Yeah, but this guy thinks homosexuality and pedophilia are linked.
It's absolutely.
I mean, they are linked.
Ridiculous.
They're both concerning sex. So he's not wrong. He's not wrong. They are linked. Just like I don't know. Yeah, but they are linked.
Heterosexuality,
whether they're the same
pedophilia,
or equally as bad as each other, that's not true. They are linked, though, right? I mean, look at the Catholic Church. All their homosexuality in the church is linked to pedophilia.
It is, right.
So I guess I'm saying this guy's correct. No, but I'm saying he's not wrong in saying that. But saying women's athletics a haven and breeding ground for lesbianism, I don't know about that. I mean, there's nothing wrong with lesbians playing sports, though.
Right.
And maybe lesbians like sports. So again, maybe that's not wrong. I don't know.
And there's obviously
I'm not
more
saying
to
that
it. You know,
he's right.
If somebody's kid, it's somebody's kids. They obviously know more than they're going to say to the news about what they don't like, what they can't say.
Maybe his daughter's a lesbian and that's why he's upset about it.
Anything's possible.
I shouldn't have let her play sports. That's what made her attracted to women. I know it.
Right.
Ban women's athletics.
Oh,
What?
you don't.
Is that what he's calling for? I don't know.
It's like, oh, you don't like strong women. You don't like that?
When asked about these comments by NBC News, West doubled down on his claims, recalling a story about a heterosexual young woman who abandoned her college scholarship after being outnumbered by lesbians in the women's locker room. He also claimed that homosexuality and pedophilia indeed go hand in hand. Well, okay, and that's a lot further, taking that previous statement a lot further, saying hand in hand
Seriously.
means they're always the same thing.
It's
which
like
isn't true.
someone tries to call a person out on something, and then they come up with a story about how a person has tremendous courage in the face of adversity from a bunch of it's like there was
this
a
poor
locker room.
heterosexual young woman
Oh.
was ostracized by the lesbian
Fought
community
8 lesbians in
Yeah.
a locker room that were sweaty and
and had to
mean,
abandon her scholarship.
and they were like, "Hey, this is our locker room. You better get out, or I'll show you my guns."
The homosexual world, they are by much greater percent predators, especially when it comes to boys, he said. When asked for evidence to back these claims, he said to look up the work of Milo Yiannopoulos, a conservative gay provocateur who was fired from Breitbart after a video was uncovered of him making sympathetic comments about child-adult sexual relationships. Yeah, I remember that. Milo was saying that he was abused as a kid or something. I don't even know. I'm not going to get into that because I have no clue like the specifics of it. I just remember it was something about that. I know Milo is outspoken about an underage sex or something. Like he thinks it's good for gay men to meet older men and help them become gay, or help them become comfortable with themselves, or something. It was something like that. It was weird, but I guess I kind of get what he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
Among his comments targeting Jews, West claimed that St. Jude Children's Research Hospital in New York is getting kids sick through vaccines and torturing them with anti-cancer drugs, all for a little PR for the Jewish cabal, according to the Star. He also claimed Republican Jews are grooming America just as pedophile grooms his victim. I mean, these are outrageous claims. I think he's just wording his statements outrageously. They could be worded in a nicer way, like saying they're torturing them with anti-cancer drugs. A well-spoken person would say the hospital is not helping these children with the drugs they're giving them. We need to find better ways to help the children.
It's possible that he wants to be. He really wants to have all these comments out. He knows they're out. He wants it like that, just because maybe he thinks it will be good for him.
Maybe he thinks because the media made that whole thing about Trump being racist and then Trump won, this guy probably thinks, hey, if I'm racist, I'll win, which is absolutely not true.
Yeah.
Like that is not going to happen. No racist politician is going to win ever. When asked about his comments about Jews, West turned the conversation toward Israel, saying Israel is a racist state that seeks to divide everybody by race. In response to claims that he's racist, West said he firmly believes all men are created equal. Rep. John Carpenter, the Democratic incumbent, said many people supporting West may not know about his views. I'm deeply disturbed by his candidacy, he said. It's my hope that the voters of the 15th District overwhelmingly reject that kind of bigotry on Election Day.
What they failed to say is the thought after all men are created equal is he usually says, but on the other hand.
After West won in August, the Missouri Republican Party issued a statement wholeheartedly condemning his abhorrent rhetoric, which it said had absolutely no place in the Missouri Republican Party or anywhere. The West family feud follows a string of familial denunciations of political figures, including Trump advisor Stephen Miller, the architect of the president's immigration crackdown. Miller's uncle, David S. Glosser, denounced his nephew's efforts to end chain migration, which Glosser said is the policy that allowed his and Miller's family to come to America. I shudder at the thought of what what would have become of the Glossers had the same policies Stephen so coolly espouses: the travel ban, the radical decrease in refugees, the separation of children from their parents, and even talk of limiting citizenship for legal immigrants. Been in effect when Wolf Lieb made his desperate bid for freedom, Glosser wrote in an op-ed published in August. I feel like I read that wrong, but this is how their family got into the country. They were refugees. This guy's family is refugees?
Apparently.
I don't believe that. Refugees don't... There's no white refugees. White people can't be refugees. Adam Laxalt, the Republican candidate for Nevada governor, was denounced by 12 family members last week in an op-ed published in the Reno Gazette-Journal. As this election day nears, we feel compelled to speak publicly about why we believe that Adam Laxalt is the wrong choice for Nevada's governorship, the family wrote. They claimed Laxalt was not really a Nevadan and moved to the state just to satisfy his enormous political ambitions. Last month, 6 siblings of U.S. Rep. Paul Gosar, our Republican in Arizona, participated in an ad campaign against their brother's re-election bid, endorsing his Democratic opponent. That's horrible. I mean, like, what? Going up, doing that to your family? I mean, this year's political family feuds don't just involve Republicans. Democrat Randy Bryce, who is running to replace Paul Ryan in Wisconsin's 1st congressional district, was attacked by his brother James Bryce, a police officer, in a pro-police advertisement that highlighted the candidate's arrest record and cop-hating rhetoric. There's no better person to help you win an election than your opponent's brother, right?
Right.
You can get them on your side.
Right, or help them lose in their own family.
Yeah. The Bryce campaign then brought in another family member, their mother, Nancy Bryce, who denounced the whole business in an open letter Wednesday. My family deserves better than this, she wrote, according to the Wisconsin State Journal.
Just imagine you're standing around with this would-be candidate. It's like some holiday, and this person's getting intoxicated in the kitchen, telling you about segments of their pre-planned future agenda, and that you're related to this person. You're like, what the, huh?
Like
you're going to do
stuff?
what? You know, who knows what
like
kind of wacky, drunken babbles coming out of this person's mouth hole. And you're like, I am not going to let
Someone
you...
needs to record this guy saying... Well,
like,
I mean, he's got a YouTube channel saying crazy shit.
Right. But it's like you're standing there in the kitchen and this weird second uncle or whatever it is has like security guards there, and they're drinking all the beer, getting drunk, telling you what they're going to do. It's like, we need to stop this guy. Like, he's out of his mind.
He's not well spoken.
Right.
And that's, I guess, he's like a kind of like a fanatic who doesn't speak well, doesn't think before he talks. Sort of like Trump, I guess.
Right.
I guess I'm not sure, but I think Trump speaks without planning, right?
I think they call that, verbally speaking, a loose cannon.
Oh yeah. No, loose cannon is someone who has a temper.
Oh yeah, but a temper with words, like you just let them fly out, you know.
Yeah, I guess. You want to say anything? What I got from this article is this guy's got a YouTube channel where he says a lot of stuff about Jews and Israel and homosexuality. He doesn't seem like he does seem like a kind of bad person, you know? But from what people said about him, but then from what he says, it seems like he's not entirely crazy, you know? I mean, saying Israel's a racist state, yeah, okay. I'm not saying that's, but I'm saying like the stuff about saying pedophilia and homosexuality are linked. Yes, they're linked. They're associated sometimes, but when he says that they're the same thing or hand in hand, it's like, okay, you went a little overboard, man. You know, you could talk about the Catholic Church and the problems they have, you know, and that's kind of what it sounds like he was talking about, you know. But then don't group every person into that. You know, just because someone is attracted to the same gender doesn't mean, or the same sex, doesn't mean that they're, I guess I'm 50-50 because there's no facts. I don't know this guy. I could read all kinds of stuff that people say.
To sum it up, this guy looks normal. You know, if a person appears to look normal, it means nothing.
Yeah.
Their family knows them best. And like I said, a lot of drunken babble ranting goes on in kitchens when people are, you know, handling a little too much alcohol in their system.
They probably heard him say shit that,
you know, some crazy,
publicly.
wacky stuff behind closed doors where they're like, we got to stop this dude. I know we're related, but they, like, you know, it was like hand on top of hand on top of hand in the darkness of the pantry. They made a pact. Let's stop this.
And that's the problem with politics, is that this guy Nobody knows him. Nobody knows what he's truly thinking inside his brain, you know?
Perhaps one of the siblings did, and
Even-
they're like, "I'm scared."
What if this guy was like a civil rights leader who openly said it's not okay to be white, and that he hated white people?
I doubt
Well,
that's
no, I'm
what
saying,
would-
like, say he
would
was a freedom fighter and he hated white people, like everyone should hate white people, you know? Well, then, for all we know, he's lying, and he actually doesn't hate white people, and people are going to vote for him thinking he hates white people, and then what? You know, the problem is lying politicians. You never know. You don't actually know any politician. You know, what I mean?
it's. I think it's. But for me, it's always been like people that look too perfect, and you're like, there's something off. You can't look that perfect. You know, like what's your dark side? What's your weirdness?
Like, what about all the politicians who are in office right now whose family members aren't going to tell the public what he's actually thinking? You know, so he's just sitting there.
No
like,
one ever
You can't know a
does.
politician. You just can't, and that's why
cannot.
the government is kind of messed up. Like, how am I going to vote for someone when all I know is what they said? I don't know what they're going to do.
Right.
You should vote for if people could vote for what they do as opposed to who gets to do it, they'd be way better off. Because now we can vote for some guy and he could lie and
Perhaps like an android type of robotic.
an AI.
An AI would probably be able to make a better decision and operate with more discretion and I don't know.
And when the AI says we need to euthanize people, no one's going to argue. You know,
It must
if a
be
guy
right.
says that,
It's
if Trump
smarter
said,
than every human on the
if
planet.
Trump said we had to
so.
euthanize people would be all bent out of shape. Like
Until
you
they
know,
found out the robot is like 100 times smarter than them,
Yeah,
and they're like,
yeah,
"Well,
okay,
you make a great
you
point."
know best. You know, I don't know. That's it for the video, though. If you enjoyed it, let us know by leaving it. Did I already say that?
I don't know. No.
That's it for the video. If you enjoyed it, let us know by leaving a comment or giving it a thumbs up. And check out our Patreon link in the description if you want to help us, because that'd be awesome. And thanks for watching.